Welcome to Goddesses. I'm your host, Blair Minerva. Today on Goddesses, imagine a world where one small act can ignite a revolution, where quiet strength speaks louder than any shout. Today, we uncover how a single word from Rosa Parks sparked a movement, and how her unwavering resolve can teach you to find your own power to disrupt the status quo, even when the world tells you to stay put. December 1, 1955. A weathered hand grips a worn purse strap. The Montgomery bus engine growls beneath Rosa Parks' feet, matching the tension crackling through the air. When the white driver barks "Move it" colored, her response changes history. A single word, no. You might think you know this story, the tired seamstress who sparked a movement. But what if I told you that moment wasn't about fatigue at all? It was about a lifetime of calculated resistance, about the kind of courage that builds slowly, deliberately, until it becomes unshakable. Picture young Rosa in Pine Level, Alabama. The cotton fields stretch endlessly, but her grandfather stands tall on their porch each night, shotgun ready. The clan rides these roads. She learns early that dignity requires vigilance, that sometimes survival means standing your ground. You see, Rosa Parks wasn't born into protest. She was forged by it. Each colored-only sign, each sidewalk step off to let white folks pass, these weren't just humiliations. They were lessons. By 1943, Rosa's quiet resistance finds purpose. She joins the Montgomery NAACP, becoming their secretary. But this isn't just about taking minutes at meetings. She investigates sexual assaults against Black women, knowing each documentation builds a case against injustice. Each small act of courage prepares her for something bigger. Think about that. While others see a spontaneous act of defiance on that bus, you're now seeing years of methodical preparation, of choosing to stand when others sit, of speaking when others stay silent. That December afternoon carries the weight of generations. The bus fills with the usual mix of Black workers and white passengers. The segregation dance begins. Black riders must move back when whites need seats. It's happened countless times before, but today is different. Today, Rosa Parks has had enough. When the driver demands she move, time seems to stop. In that moment, she isn't thinking about making history. She's thinking about dignity, about every time she's had to swallow her pride, about every investigation that ended in injustice. What happens next costs her everything. Within hours, she's arrested. Within days, she loses her job. Death threats pour in. Her husband, Raymond, begins to crack under the pressure. This is what real courage costs, not just a moment of bravery, but years of consequences. You might be wondering, would you have the strength to pay such a price? To stand firm when standing means losing everything you've built? But here's where the story shifts. Rosa's act of defiance becomes a catalyst. The Women's Political Council, led by Joanne Robinson, springs into action. By morning, 50,000 flyers circulate through Montgomery's Black community. The message is clear. No one rides these buses on Monday. Think about that ripple effect. One woman's refusal to move transforms into 381 days of collective resistance. People walk miles to work in freezing rain and burning sun. They organize carpools. They refuse to break. What's remarkable isn't just that the boycott succeeded. It's how it succeeded. Every day, the white establishment expected the Black community to break. Every day, they didn't. Rosa Parks' quiet strength had awakened something powerful, the realization that dignity isn't given. It's claimed. A young minister named Martin Luther King Jr. emerges as a leader, but Rosa remains the movement's conscience. Her silence speaks volumes. Her steadfast refusal to back down, even as threats mount, shows others what real courage looks like. If you're enjoying Goddesses, please subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course. Be an unstoppable woman. Lead without apology using quiet power tactics from influential females like Oprah, Malala, and RBG. Now, back to the episode. The white community retaliates. Police harass carpools. Insurance companies cancel coverage. Bombs explode at ministers' homes. Rosa and Raymond face constant death threats. They eventually flee to Detroit, leaving behind everything they know. But here's what you need to understand. Rosa Parks never saw herself as a victim. That's the difference between temporary bravery and lasting courage. On November 13, 1956, the Supreme Court rules bus segregation unconstitutional. The boycott ends in triumph, but real change, that takes longer. Rosa spends the rest of her life fighting for justice, for voting rights, against police brutality, for equal education. She never stops. Even in Detroit, she continues organizing, speaking, pushing for change. Think about this. Rosa Parks wasn't tired that day on the bus. She was tired of injustice, of compromise, of the thousand small indignities that chip away at human dignity. Her revolution wasn't loud. It was persistent, unwavering, unstoppable. This is where your story intersects with hers, because the question isn't whether you'll face your own moment of choice. The question is whether you'll be ready when it comes. Have you been building your courage quietly, daily, like Rosa did? Have you been preparing yourself to stand firm when standing firm costs everything? Rosa Parks died in 2005, but her legacy isn't in history books. It's in every person who chooses dignity over comfort, who refuses to move when justice demands they stand firm, who understands that real change doesn't come from sporadic acts of courage, but from a lifetime of principled resistance. Here's your challenge. Find your bus seat moment. Not the dramatic gestures, but the daily choices where dignity meets defiance. Where do you stay silent when you should speak? Where do you move when you should stand firm? Start small. Build your courage muscle like Rosa did through conscious, consistent choices. Through the quiet decision to maintain your dignity, even when it costs you. Through the daily practice of saying no to what diminishes your humanity or the humanity of others. Because that's what Rosa Parks really teaches us. Courage isn't born in a moment. It's built over a lifetime of small resistances, of quiet preparations, of choosing dignity over comfort again and again until standing firm becomes who you are, not just what you do. So I'll leave you with this. What will be your no? What injustice have you been too tired to fight? What dignity have you compromised for comfort? Rosa Parks shows us that real change starts with one person refusing to move. Being that person isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about preparing yourself every day to be unmovable when your moment comes. Remember, Rosa Parks didn't just sit down on a bus. She stood up for human dignity, and in doing so, she showed us all how to stand. The choice is yours now. Will you sit quietly, or will you stand? On the next episode of Goddesses, Rosa Parks' quiet act of defiance ignited a movement, proving individual courage can shake the foundations of injustice. But what happens when the fight against a system transforms the fighter? Imagine a world where the lines between hero and something else blur. This week, we're exploring iconoclasts and system shakers, and the next story is about a woman whose struggle against apartheid saw her labeled everything from mother of the nation to something far darker. What do you do when the system you're fighting forces you to compromise your own moral code? Discover how the fight for liberation reshaped her in South Africa, and why the truth is never as simple as it seems. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, Be an Unstoppable Woman. 7 days, 7 iconic women. Master the art of quiet power, lead without apology, and turn femininity into your greatest weapon. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/god. Thanks for watching.